Mandukya Upanishad. Seventh mantra is a significant mantra. All the mantras are important. Seventh mantra is a significant mantra because that mantra presents Atma Swarupam. Atma Swarupa Pratipadaka Mantraha, which means that mantra consists of the words of which each word reveals the nature of the Atma, nature of the self. And there again we have two words. One word is Prapancha Upashamaha. Prapanchopashamaha is a word implying the Atma. Another word is Advaitaha. I can say Prapancha Upashamam Advaitam. These two words are used in the seventh mantra. Prapancha Upashamam Advaitam. And let us take the first word now. Prapancha Upashamam. Upashamaha means negation, the resolve, resolution. So Prapancha Upashamaha means resolution of the universe. How can the word meaning resolution of the universe mean Atma? This word actually, it does not, Prapanchaha Upashamaha. Two words are Prapanchasya Upashamaha. Resolution of the universe is equal to Atma. What it means is, it does not directly means, it is Atma is that wherein the universe resolves. When you say Atma is that, now the self is that means the self is the truth of the universe wherein the universe resolves. When you say this universe does not have existence independently outside of the Atma. Therefore what? Atma alone is in the form of the whole universe, and the Atma is that wherein the universe resolves, which means Atma being the very substratum, existence, the truth of the universe is implied by that word Prapanchopashamaha. Remember that word? First, long ago we started. I think this class maybe we did in doctor's house one day. But there again, we are asked to see another meaning also. What is that? When you say Prapancha Upashamaha, what is indirectly revealed is the Atma, the Prapanchaha being what now? Mithya is also implied. By mentioning Atma is that wherein the universe resolves, something else is implied, that is universe being mithya, universe being non-real. Prapancha Upashamaha reveals Atma being the reality where the universe resolves. Thereby it indirectly reveals what? Universe being mithya, non-real. I'm not saying unreal, non-real. Therefore, Upashamaha, therefore, how universe is mithya? So, mithya means the universe enjoys what status? Universe enjoys the status of being the non-real, which means universe is not real. So that's called mithyatvam. Prapanchasya mithyatvam. the non-reality of the universe, a universe being non-real, which means being not as good as non-existent, is also implied, isn't it? That mithyatvam of the universe being non-real, is elaborately discussed in the second chapter. So whole of the second chapter, it's called Vaitatya Prakaranam, discusses what? The universe being non-real, universe being mithya. So the whole chapter is, discuss. The whole chapter discusses, in fact, it establishes clearly that universe being mithya. Mithya means what? It has no independent existence. Therefore, what? It is as good as non-existent. That is established. So, what is the universe? Now, first define universe. What is universe according to the Vedanta Shastram? People talk about, model of universe, isn't it? What is this universe? What is this cosmos? Kaha prapanchaha, eshaha prapanchaha, kaha etad idam jagat kim. What is this universe? If you ask, and then you can say what? This universe, let us understand in terms of the explanation given here in this Mandukya Upanishad. Vishwaha Virat Taijasaha Hiranyagarbhaha Antaryami or Pragyaha Antaryami Ishvaraha. Pragyaha, or I can say Ishvaraha. All these six together constitute Prapanchaha. What is cosmos? These six factors together constitute what? The Prapanchaha. Vishwaha Virat, Taijasaha Hiranyagarbhaha, Pragyaha Ishvaraha. Antaryami is another word for Ishvara. These six constitute the universe, Prapanchaha. The four different ways of understanding the cosmos. We can say it this way, or Sthula Shariram, the gross body and the gross objects, subtle body, subtle objects, and then causal body, causal universe, causal objects, objects obtaining in causal form. All of them constitute Prapanchaha. The second way of seeing it, seeing the Prapancha. This universe is nothing but gross body and the gross objects, gross forms, subtle body, subtle forms, subtle objects, causal body and the causal universe, causal universe or causal objects. All the six of them constitute the cosmos or universe, Prapanchaha. You can see in another way also. Prathama Padaha, Dvitiya Padaha, Tritiya Padaha. All the three padas, or we can say, no? All three padas constitute the Prapanchaha. Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya padas. First, second, third padas constitute the Prapanchaha. You can say universe. There again you can say the Prathama Padaha and Dvitiya Padaha, the two padas stand for what? The effects. Prathama Padaha is an effect in gross form. Dvitiya Padaha is an effect in subtle form. And the Tritiya Padaha stands for cause, causal form. Causal form, subtle form, gross form. But we can say cause and effect. Cause, Tritiya Padaha stands for cause, isn't it? Cause. The second, Prathama and Dvitiya, first and second two padas stand for the effects. So the cause and the effects constitute the universe. The universe is nothing but cause and effect system. Is it clear? This is how we can see cause and effect. Universe is nothing but cause and effect. Cause and its effects. Universe is nothing but first the three padas together constitute the universe. Or you can say gross, subtle, causal bodies and the objects constitute the universe. And you can simply say what? All the six, Vishwavirat, Tajasa Hiranyagarbha, Prajna Ishvara, all of them constitute Prapanchaha. This is what is Prapanchaha. And this Prapanchaha is what now? Mithya. Mithyatvam, Mithya, what is the other word? Vitatha. Mithya, otherwise you can say Vitatha. Mithyatvam, you can say Vaitatyam. Mithyatvam, you can say Vaitatyam. Mithyatvam is a noun form, isn't it? Mithyatvam, non-reality. Or, I'm not saying unreality, okay? Non-reality. I will say Vaitatyam. Nouns. Okay. Vitathayaha bhavaha Vaitatyam. So, the universe being not real, Mithya, is established like this. If Prapanchaha is Mithya, then Prapanchaha is Mithya. Then what is Satyam? Is it? So, Turiya Chaitanyam, Turiya Padaha. We have already taken what? All the three padas are Mithya. All the three padas constitute, all the three padas in the form of cause and effect constitute Mithya Prapancha. Now, Turiya Padaha, Chaturtha Padaha or Turiya Padaha, we can say Turiyam is the Chaitanyam alone is Satyam. Turiya Padaha or Turiyam alone is Satyam. All other three padas are Mithya. Satya means what? The reality. If Turiyam alone is Satyam, what you have to understand here? Turiyam alone is Satyam. And as Turiyam alone Satyam means, what is this Turiyam Satyam? Atma is this Turiyam is the Satyam which is the Atma. Turiyam is Satyam and the Satyam is what? Turiyam Satyam is Atma. Atma means what? I. Atma is what? The self of everything. Self of everything means what about yourself? Yourself is what? How do you refer to yourself? How do you refer to yourself? How do you refer to yourself? As I. Therefore, a self is Atma and here Turiyam is Satyam. And the Satyam, the Turiyam Satyam is what? Atma. Therefore, Atma is what now? I. And then I refer to myself as I. Therefore, I the self am the Atma, the Turiyam, Chaitanyam, distinct from this mithya prapanchaha. But the mithya prapanchaha is non-different from what now? Me, I, the turiyam. Therefore, I am the whole. Is it clear? I am the whole. So this Atma, here we say the non-dual. To Satyam is what now? Non-dual, secondless reality. Atma. And here, that Atma alone, we have the other word now, Advaitam. The word Advaitam is there. That word Advaitam is discussed in this third chapter. The whole chapter, Advaita Prakaranam, elaborately discusses what now? The meaning of that word Advaitam. So what does the word Advaitam refer to? What does the word Advaitam mean here? The Turiyam, isn't it? So three padas, implying the Mithya Prapancha, is what now discussed here, the second chapter, in terms of Prapancha Upashamaha. And the third chapter, the Advaitam, the Turiyam is the Advaitam, and that is discussed in the third chapter. So Advaitam, what is the literal meaning? Dvaitam means two. Advaita means not to two, which means the not to means the truth is one. Truth, absolute reality, not two. Not two. Satyam is not two. Truth is not two. Advaitam. Therefore, Advaitam, you have a non-dual reality is the Atma. The Turiyam Chaitanyam consciousness is the Atma. The Atma is the Satyam. And Satyam is what? Atma. Therefore, the word Advaitam refers to Atma, the Turiyam Chaitanyam. Atma, Turiyam, Chaitanyam is implied by the word, is referred to by the word Advaitam. And here, if we take this, the whole, the third chapter, how many karikas are there? There are only 48 karikas. And 48 karikas we have seen. We can classify, these 48 karikas. We can divide them into 5 portions, dealing with 5 different topics. We take the first 2 karikas of Advaita Prakaranam. First 2 karikas of Advaita Prakaranam present the very introduce the teaching. The introduction, wherein Dvaitam being the cause of samsara is presented. Dvaitam, in duality there is samsara inevitable. In duality there is samsara, life of limitations, life of becoming, life of transmigration, life, the samsara fraught with involving birth, death, changes, old age, and then, the separation, pain, pleasure, the parts of opposites, experiences, they all constitute samsara. Isn't it? So the samsara is life of pains and pleasures, life of pairs of experience of pairs of opposites. This which is what now? Which is constantly changing also, isn't it? This life of samsara is inevitable, unavoidable in duality. It is definitely in duality. There is samsara. That is made clear in the very introduction of the first two verses. First two karikas. So it implies what? If Dvaitam is a cause for samsara, what is the cause of samsara? Duality is the cause of samsara. Wherever there is duality involved, there is samsara. It can be what? Performance of actions. Mundane actions or religious activities. Also samsara. They involve Dvaitam. Secular activities or sacred activities. The performer performed division is there. Performer, performance, performed, doer, done, division is there. Even if it is a religious activity, doesn't matter, religious or mundane, secular or sacred, there is duality because division is there. Even worshipper worshipped, duality is there. Even in worship, isn't it? Even in religious activities, in worship, there is a worshipper worshipped, duality is there. Division is there. Then there is samsara. Meditated, duality is there. Samsara. Whether it is upasanam, manasam karma, or kayikam karma, vachikam karma, vaidikam karma, or avaidikam karma, non-Vedic, laukikam karma, any karma is what? Involves duality, and where there is duality, there is samsara. Laukikam means worldly, mundane. Vaidika means religious, ritualistic, rituals, whatever it is. The duality is, therefore samsara is. Why? Because, why Dvaitam is the cause of samsara? Because where there is Advaitam, duality, definitely there comes what? Time and space. In Dvaitam, in duality, there is time involved. Desha kala kalana. Listen, kala, time factor is involved, space is involved. Division means what? Time and space are involved. When the time is there, change is a factor, what now? Unavoidable. Time implies change because all the changes happen in time. Birth is a change. Now, big change. Birth is a change. Takes place in time. Even before birth, from conception until the time of birth, there's a time involved. So in time, everything takes place in time. Duration, birth takes place in time. Growth implies what? Growth all takes place in time. Change, growth is another change in time. Old age is what? Why we are all not the same? Old age is again something happening in change happening in time. Time is, that is why Kalaha. We have to hold on to Kala, Kaleshwara, to escape this Kala, from Kala. The time, the change is something which goes with the time, isn't it? Time means the change. That's why we think time is somehow responsible for all these things. Old age, what about death? Death also happens in time. Birth, growth, decay, old age, death. Isn't it? Death means what? Separation. Which is something, birth is nice, birthday parties, we can have every year. And after death, no birth, isn't it? How happy we are to celebrate the birthday parties. We are not that happy celebrating Antyeshti. And after Antyeshti, no more birthday party. So it's a change. So time implies changes, inevitable, unavoidable change, non-changeable change. So all happens in time. Therefore, and separation means samsara. Okay? Where there is Dvaitam, there is time and space involved. Therefore, there are changes inevitable, changes in the form of birth, death, old age, etc. are inevitable. And therefore there is samsara. And what is that which is free from these changes? So what if it is free from time, not subject to time? What is indivisible, partless, whole, isn't it? Is Advaitam, is Turiyam, the Atma, the awareness. Advaita. Therefore, the first two karikas introducing the chapter says that duality is the cause, being the cause of samsara, is discussed. Thereafter, the second topic is what? Third verse onwards till the 30th verse, 30th karika. Third to the 30th, 27 karikas discuss the negation of creation. Srishtahe nishedaha. Srishtahe, the negation of the creation. Which means that which makes very clear there is no such thing called creation at all. And this negation of creation, called Srishti Nishedaha, is called what? In fact, the very topic of Srishti itself in the Shastras is discussed for what? The analysis of creation itself is for negating the creation, isn't it? But here Srishti is not analyzed, but here Srishti is negated. And Srishti Nisheda, negation of creation, is, which is called what? Ajati Vadaha. Ajati Vadaha means there is no creation at all. So why creation is negated? Creation is negated, thereby Brahman, thereby the Atma, the Turiya Chaitanyam, which is Atma, the Brahman, being not the cause is established. Thereby non-duality of the reality is established. Reality being free from cause and the effect. Reality being not the cause, thereby that reality being non-dual is established. Srishti Nisheda, the negation of the creation. Creation means what here? The two things are discussed. Neither the Jiva is created, nor the Jagat is created. Negation of the Jiva, creation of Jiva, negation of the creation of the universe. So, negation of the creation of the individual self and negation of creation of the total universe also. Both are negated. There is no Jiva created, there is no Jagat created. And how is it presented here? This Jiva, Jagat, Srishti Nishedaha, called Ajati Vadaha, is presented in these 27 Karikas. There, the negation is done at 4 levels. How? There is a logical negation of the creation of Jiva. Then also he presents the scriptural, he scripturally support that. The creation of the Jiva is negated with support of the quotations from the Shruti also. It's called scriptural negation of the Jiva Srishtihi and the logical negation of Jiva Srishtihi. The creation of Jiva is negated scripturally as well as logically. First logically he negates, then scripturally he negates. Is it clear? So second topic is the negation of the creation. And how does he negate the Jiva Srishtihi logically? He uses the example of pot space. Isn't it? Pot space, there is no such thing called pot space, there is only space. But still we use the expression pot space because, the pot space is a name given to space from the standpoint of the pot which obtains in space. Really speaking, there is no such a thing called pot space. So pot space has no birth, pot space has no death, pot space has no change, isn't it? Pot space has no movement, and space is one indivisible, partless whole. And pot space is untainted, untouched. And space is what? No. There's no pot space at all, first of all. There's only space. Spot space is not created. Whereas pot which obtains in space has birth, created. Not really created, okay? Has beginning. Pot has birth. Pot undergoes changes. Pot decays. Pot gets old. And pot gets broken. Therefore, birth, changes, destruction belongs to pot. And you can also say what now? Movement also you can say. Pot can be taken one place to another place. So movement is also belongs to pot. plurality, multiplicity belongs to pot. Now, not be only one, isn't it? So, this here, the birth, change, the decay, the destruction or death or movements or plurality, all of them belong to the pot, not to this space. Similarly, so birth, death, change, old age, destruction, movements, everything belong to the body, not to the Turiyam, the Atma. Atma is, therefore what Atma? Jiva Atma. The Jiva Atma is nothing but Turiyam, the consciousness. Therefore, it is not subject to any changes. As no birth. So, this is using this pot space example, he logically establishes, he negates the creation of the Jiva. Then he scripturally, he negates the creation of Jiva. How? We say by using Mahavakyams. All these Mahavakyams reveal the Jiva Atma being identical with Parama Atma. Like just as wave, in this Vakyam, a statement, the wave is water, reveals identity between wave being identical with the ocean from the standpoint of the water. Similarly here also, every individual self, Jiva Atma, is identical with Parama Atma. Thereby it reveals what now? The Paramatma is absolute self which is free from birth. Jiva Atma identical with Paramatma means what? Jiva Atma always free from birth. Therefore the creation of the Jiva is scripturally negated by revealing its identity with Paramatma. Is it clear? So, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam reveals the Jivatma being identical with Paramatma, thereby it negates the creation of Jiva. Is it clear now? The scriptural negation of Jiva Srishti. Then Jagat Srishti is negated. How is Jagat Srishti is negated? Isn't it? Here using the dream experience. How the dream universe, the dream plurality, dream duality, dream multiplicity, dream objects, dream space, dream time, everything is very real and from the standpoint of the dreamer, but the same dream is what now? Mithya from the standpoint of the waker. Same way, this Jagrat Prapancha also, which is very real from the standpoint of the waker, is Mithya from the standpoint of Turiyaha. Is it clear now? Turiyam. Therefore, the Jagat, this script, so therefore, this he establishes. Jagat Srishti also he negates. And not only that, and we saw we have so many karikas, that's why we have so many, 27 karikas present this negation of Jiva Srishti and Jagat Srishti, this logically and scripturally, how they negated, they presented, in this 27 verses. We saw that, no? Yuktya Jiva Srishti Nishedaha, Shrutya Jiva Srishti Nishedaha, then Yuktya Jagat Srishti Nishedaha, and the Shrutya Jiva Srishti Jagat Srishti Nishedaha, Yuktya Jagat Srishti Nishedaha. Isn't it? Shrutya Yuktya Jiva Jagat Srishti Nishedaha. Means what? Logical, scriptural negation of Jiva, creation of Jiva and Jagat. The second topic discussed in the, we have to go back and see all the karikas, 3rd to 30. Okay, the next topic discussed is 31st to 39th. Atma Jnanam. Or you can say Amani Bhavaha, Asparsha Yogaha. Self-knowledge is discussed. So how many verses? How many karikas? 9 karikas. 31st to 39. 9 karikas. 9. Yeah, 9. Include for 31st and 9. See, the whole Jagat is going no with our mathematical knowledge. Anyway. Sometimes what all doubts come now. Inclusive. Well, 9 I said. So, Atma Jnanam, self-knowledge, is now here implied by Gaudapacharya in this chapter with special words. Atma Satya Anubodha, isn't it? Atma Satya Anubodha, Atma Satya Anubodha. Then use another word, Asparsha Yogaha. These two words are used to mean self-knowledge, Atma Jnanam. In that context, he said, he made many things very clear. Atma is Satyam. Atma is the only Satyam. The content of I, the substance of substantive, I, the awareness, the Turiyam, alone is Satyam. Atma alone is Satyam. We already understood. Turiyam Padaha is Atma. And Atma is Satyam. Atma means I. Atma is Satyam. Atma eva Satyam, Atma Satyam. And Atma Satya Bodha, the knowledge of that only reality Atma. See, he makes it very clear. There is no second reality other than Atma. That should become very clear. Atma eva Satyam, Atma Satyam. And Atma Satya Bodha, that knowledge of that Atma, the only reality, is only with the help of the Shastra study. Only through the Shastra study. So, Anu, only one, the Atma, that Anu Bodha is attainable only through the study of the scriptures. Only, is it Atma Satya Anubodha. That Anu is very important. Anu means in aid of, isn't it? It implies the aid, the support. How we have to understand? To have the knowledge of something which is very, very far, your eyes are not enough. Eyes need the support of a binocular to have the knowledge of something which is very far. But imagine my binocular without if you are blind, binocular will be useless, isn't it? But your eyes themselves are not adequate to have the knowledge of something which is far. Your eyes need the support of the binocular. Similarly, to have the knowledge of something minute, your eyes are not enough. You need support of microscope. Microscope or binocular, without your eyes will be useless in knowing something which is far or knowing something which is minute. But your eyes themselves without the microscope will be incapable of, incomplete, isn't it? Incapable of knowing something which is minute and subtle. Similarly, your intellect, a sharpness of your intellect is very important. Emotionally undisturbed, emotionally unoverpowered, emotionally undisturbed. Sharp intellect is very important, but it needs the support of Shastram. Without the Shastram, your intellect will be incomplete, inadequate, insufficient. And without your sharp intellect, Shastram will be useless. Understand? Therefore, Anu stands for what? Shastram. Shastra means what here? Guru, Shastra, Upadesha, the Vedantic teaching. The Vedantic teaching. So, Atma eva satyam. Atma is the reality. There is no reality other than the Atma. And that reality, the knowledge of that reality, one has to attain through the Vedantic study. Is it clear? That is simply Atma Satya Anubodha. Make it very clear. And there, he also said there, and this Atma is what now, the Atma Jnana is also called Asparsha Yoga because Atma is untainted. Sparshaha means touch, relation, connection, association. Asparshaha means Atma is something untainted, untouched. Therefore, it's called Asparshaha. Atma itself is called what? Known by the term Asparshaha. Asparshaha means that which is free from all relationships, connections, associations. Atma, the Turiyam, the awareness, is not connected, no association with the Kartrutvam, the doership or enjoyership or karma, or any relationship, any association. Isn't it? So, Atma is something untainted, untouched. Therefore, Atma is also unrelated, non-relatable. Understand? Therefore, Atma is free from, Atma being free from all connections, association, relationships and relations, is said to be what now? Untaintedness of the Atma is said to be what now? Asparshaha. So, Atma is implied by the word Asparshaha. Aham Asparshaha, you all can say Aham Atma, you all can say Aham Asparsha Atma. Aham Asparshaha. Asparshaha means what now? I am Asparshaha. Therefore, I the self am completely, what now? I am the source of security. I am the security myself. Understand? Therefore, Atma is the security. Atma doesn't require any security. This is Asparshaha, and here in this context, which means depending upon the world, relations for anything, for security and happiness is what? Then there is samsara. In Jnanam, in Advaita, Turiya, Atma Jnanam, there is security. That's also the test that is implied here. In that context, we have to understand, he says, talks about the Amani Bhavaha. Why does he, Amani Bhavaha means what? Negation of the mind as mithya, understanding the mind being the mithya, mind being not the reality, is what now? Sort of destruction of the mind, okay, and which is called Amani Bhavaha, Mano Nashaha. Why mind should be negated? Why mind should be destroyed? Destroyed means what now? Destruction of the mind, not physically undoing the mind, not destroying the mind, but negating the mind as mithya, by understanding mind being mithya. How? By resolving the mind is Mano Amani Bhavaha. Why? Because it is this mind which is the cause of perception And perception is what now? The cause of perception. Perception means it involves duality. Isn't it? There cannot be duality if there is no such a thing called perception. Perception is because of what? Because of the mind. Therefore, mind is the cause for the perception of duality. And duality is what? Samsaraha. Look at this. Mind is responsible for the perception of duality, and perception of duality involves what? Samsaraha. Therefore, mind is the cause of samsaraha. Therefore, resolving the mind will help resolve the problem of perception of duality. Thereby, you can resolve the samsara caused by the perception of duality. Now, the question comes, does really the perception of duality is the cause of samsara? Means, no, it's not the perception of duality is the cause of samsara. The perception of duality, which is now caused by the mind, functioning of the mind, not being mistaken for the reality, is the cause of samsara. Mind is the cause of perception, isn't it? Perception as such is possible because of the mind. And perception means there is duality. And duality is samsara means. Perception of duality itself is not samsara. It cannot become the cause of samsara. But what is perceived, the duality, the perception, now everything being mithya should be understood. Unfortunately, we mistake the perceived duality as satyam. Therefore, how can you avoid this problem of going through samsara by mistaking the perceived duality as satyam? Only by resolving the mind, by negating the mind. What this mind is all about? What is this mind? If the mind is switched off, there is no jagat, there is no duality, then there is no samsara. The mind is turned on, there is duality, there is samsara. Therefore, understand what the mind is, understand how mind is not this satyam, mind is not satyam, mind is not there really speaking by itself. Mind's mithyatvam, mind being mithya has to be understood very clearly. If mind being mithya is very clear, then what to talk of the perception of the mind and the perception of duality, isn't it? Perception of duality caused by the mind is also what now? Mithya. Mind itself is mithya. How can the duality perceived, isn't it? Perception of duality caused by the mind is satyam. So the duality is also what now? Mithya. You can negate duality as mithya by negating the very perception as mithya, by negating the mind as mithya. Thereby you can become free from samsara. So in order to free yourself from the samsara, the bondage, to negate the samsara as mithya, understand samsara being mithya, you have to negate the very perception of duality being mithya. And to negate the perception of duality as mithya, you have to negate the very mind being mithya. To negate the mind as mithya, you have to understand the mind being mithya. To understand the mind being mithya, you have to understand the satyam, the atma. So atma satyam satya anubodhena eva amani bhavaha sadhyaha. Understand? Amani bhavaha is possible. Negation of mind, which is, there's no physical destruction, okay? Destruction of the mind or negation of mind, resolution of the mind as mithya is only through the recognition of the Atma being the only Satyam. Is it clear? Or Atma the Satyam. If you see the Satyam, mithya being the mithya becomes clear. Shifting the attention from the mithya to Satyam will help you to see the mithya being the mithya. Do you need to undo the ocean to say ocean is mithya? Ocean is not there. You do not physically undo the ocean. You cannot undo the ocean. If the attention is shifted from the Namarupa ocean to water, then, isn't it? Jala Satya Bodhena Samudra Mithyatvam. Understand? By seeing the truth, water being the truth, you see the ocean being mithya. Ocean being not real, non-real. Similarly here, the Atma Satya Anubodhena, by seeing the Atma, Turiya Chaitanyam being the Atma, Satyam, the truth being the Atma, you negate the mind being, you understand the mind being mithya. Understanding the mind being mithya is what? Resolving the mind. And resolving the mind is what? Negating the mind. By negating the mind as mithya, you negate the very perception of duality and what now? The samsara caused by the duality as mithya. Is it clear? This how we hope you remember the words I taught you in the class. Amani bhavaha. This is what is discussed in these 9 verses. Isn't it? You have to remember that verse. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. One line you all can remember. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. Mind has to be tackled. Mind has to be handled. Mind has to be what this mind is. Mind needs to be understood. Mind is understood means what now? You can renegate the mind as mithya by understanding it's not really there. There is no such thing called mind which has independent existence without the Atma, the Satyam, the awareness. Isn't it? So, Atma Satya Anubodha is for what? Atma Satya Anubodha is equal to Asparsha Yogaha. Asparsha Yoga is equal to Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is for what? Amani Bhavaha. Amani Bhavaha means negation of the mind as mithya, which is called destruction of the mind, Mano Nashaha. And what is it for? Samsara Nasha. Understand? Samsara Nivrittihi, which is moksha. You have to say, finally you can say what? Atma Jnanam is equal to moksha. That is discussed from the 39 until 39th. Then we have the 40th verse to 47th verse. 7 verses we have. 8 verses, 8 karikas. Again number problem comes. But I was going to say, let me see how 8 or 7, 9. 41st to the 47th inclusive, isn't it? 8 karikas discuss the topic of Mano Nigraha. Mano Nigraha implies what now? The discipline of contemplation. Nididhyasanam. What is the topic discussed in those 7 verses? Mano Nigraha. Mano Nigraha implies what? The word used by Gaudapacharya is Mano Nigraha. Mental discipline or absolute mental mastery or mastery over the mind. Mano Nigraha literally you will read everywhere mind control. But here you say absolute, not relative mastery, absolute mental mastery over the mind. Or you can say freedom from mind. It's a Mano Nigraha. You are free from mind, you have what? Mano Nigraha. So, it implies contemplation, nididhyasanam. This is the topic in all these 8 karikas. And here, he implies these 3 types of adhikaris. We have to remember. No? Hina, Madhyama, Uttama adhikaris are there. And for Uttama adhikari is the one appropriately, adequately qualified adhika student and who is endowed with all 4-fold qualifications, for whom Shravanam itself will be effective. Shravanam itself will bless him with knowledge and its benefit of Jivan Videha Muktihi and Videha Muktihi. Isn't it? Jivan Muktihi. Jivan Videha Muktihi. Jivan Muktihi. Isn't it? Bless him with 2-fold benefits, we said. The Shravanam itself will bless that person with knowledge. What knowledge he will have? No, self-knowledge will. Self-knowledge will bless him with 2 benefits. What are the 2 benefits? He will be clear that I, the self, am the awareness, all pervasive, timeless, changeless awareness, free from the 3 bodies and all the problems associated with the bodies. While living in the world, enjoying the bodies, having the bodies, being endowed with the bodies, eating, drinking, walking, doing everything physically. Also, the person is cognitively, he is free. What now? He is free. That is, he is free from all the wrong notions. Therefore, I self am the awareness, free from the bodies and their problems. Not physically. He doesn't say I am not the body, okay? But cognitively, he has that freedom. That is that is while living also, having the bodies, you don't not having the bodies. That is Videha Mukti while living. Then as a result of that freedom, isn't it? I itself am the awareness free from the bodies and their problems. With this because of the vision, then the mind that obtains is free from all the problems. See, if I am, that why? Because all these wrong notions about the self are not there, means there cannot be sense of inadequacy, sense of smallness centered on I, thereby no needs, no dependence, therefore no ragadveshas, therefore no jealousy, hatred, anger, all of them are not there. Don't need to do anything. They all resolve naturally. That is why Shastram always repeatedly says you cannot give up anger. You cannot give up the jealousy, hatred. They are natural problems. And they are all symptoms of the disease of sense of inadequacy, sense of smallness centered on I. And that is because of the wrong identity, adhyasa, adhyaropa. It's because of self-ignorance, because of the ignorance of the self being the truth, isn't it? See, the self-ignorance, isn't it? Because wrong identity. Therefore, he says in this that Atmasatya Anubodha is there. If the mind is resolved, then naturally, that is very clear means then the mind is free, isn't it? Mind is free from all these impurities naturally. That's what now the absolutely free mind is what. In fact, that is what being free from the mind also. You are free from the mind, and that in such a mind is what the most evolved, most mature, highly developed personality. Isn't it? It can't develop anymore. Absolutely pure and then tranquil, serene, undisturbed, non-disturbable mind is then we can, that is the emotional, absolute emotional strength. Nothing can shake the mind. There's no weakness. That is called Jivan Mukti. Entertaining such a mind as a result of this clear non-vision that I, the Atma, am free from the bodies and their complications. That is the actual Jivan Mukti, and which is really sought after by all the people. And that is possible for whom? That Jnanam and the Jnana Phalam is possible for the person who is Uttama Adhikari. Isn't for anybody is possible, but Shravanam itself will bless one with that Jnanam and the Jnana Phalam. But for Madhyama Adhikari, Shravanam is not. Madhyama Adhikari means one who is qualified, not unqualified. Qualified but not adequately qualified. For him, Nididhyasanam is also prescribed. And for Anadhikari, for unqualified person, come on, you're not qualified? Come on, get class, go. It must not say that. For unqualified person, what is it now? Karma Yogaha. Living a life Karma Yoga is the discipline prescribed. What should the Anadhikari do? Anadhikari is also a spiritual person. Adhikari is also what now? A spiritual person. Ardha Adhikari, Purna Adhikari, Anadhikari, all of them are spiritual people, because for all of them, moksha being the end is very clear. Jnanam is being the only means is very clear. Jnanam and moksha being identical is very clear. All of them are committed to the pursuit of knowledge. All of them are given to study of the Shastra, Shravanam. But who will benefit immediately? Adhikari will benefit. Shravanam itself is enough. Anadhikari what should do? He should do Shravanam, which is not the Jnana Yoga for him. The Shravanam also becomes a Karma Yoga for Anadhikari, which means Anadhikari should focus on living a life of karma in order to become qualified for knowledge. Then if he lives life Karma Yoga along with Shravanam, then his moksha will be taken care of. Jnana will be taken care of. Then Ardha Adhikari, this Madhyama Adhikari, now he should focus on what? Contemplation. then contemplation will bless him with knowledge, thereby he can have the benefit also. He can have the knowledge, but he may not enjoy the benefit. He can enjoy knowledge as well as benefits. Is it clear? And whereas Uttamadhikari, Shravanam itself is enough for him to enjoy knowledge and its benefits. Therefore, he is discussing the Nididhyasanam, and most of the people are what now? Inadequately qualified people. Generally, it's very natural, the problem. Therefore, Nididhyasana is prescribed as a discipline, and there he does not say how you should sit and how you should do, etc. And I told you already, Nididhyasanam means you have to listen, repeated listen. Paunak punyena Shravanam itself becomes what? Will become the contemplation for you. All the time, always focus the attention on teaching, isn't it? Being with Vedantic teaching is itself is Shravanam, is Nididhyasanam. And always again discussing the Vedantic teaching only with the people who study with us now. And also we can say listening, thinking, all the time discussing, all the things will also can contribute for what? Nididhyasam, contemplation. But still, if you follow this, the yogic method of yogic limbs for contemplation, then it's also possible. But generally, in contemplation means, in contemplation implies what? Contemplation also is meditation, where attention is focused on Vedantic teaching. Vedantic teaching means what? One's own Swarupam is subject matter of Vedanta. Therefore, there is, in this Nididhyasanam, you dwell upon the Vedantic your own Swarupam in terms of the Vedantic teaching. Then, he mainly discusses the problems involved in Nididhyasanam. We saw recently. Basically, why I'm not able to dwell upon. I'm very clear, understand the teaching very well, but still I'm not able to remember all the time. I'm not able to be with the teaching. I forget the teaching, isn't it? Thereby what? I'm not able to enjoy the benefit of that knowledge. If the knowledge is always there, then you can enjoy the benefit, isn't it? Which means, why? Because even you are not able to remember the teaching always, because you are not able to dwell upon the teaching. It is not assimilated in you. It has to become assimilated, isn't it? And for in dwelling upon the teaching, the problems are, whenever I really seriously think about the teaching, I want to focus my mind on the teaching, and immediately I feel very drowsy and sleepy, and then I get disturbed from my contemplation. Therefore, layaha becomes one of the obstacles. And then, even if I try to focus exactly when I think of the teaching, think about, of course, I see how Atma is Asangaha, Atma is Nityaha. Now, we try to focus on the nature of the Atma, but then suddenly, mind, without knowledge, mind goes away somewhere, vikshepa. Isn't it? And please remember, very interesting, very beautiful thing here. The vikshepa, mental distraction, is also called vikshepa, means mind going away, throwing up, isn't it? The thoughts coming up and going to something else is called vikshepa. Distractions and disturbances. Your attention is not, you're not able to focus attention on one thing. Distractions come. Daughter's thought come, son's thought come, grandchildren's thoughts come. Nothing wrong. You have to do the needful for that's a different thing. But all these thoughts come and disturb us, distract. Why? Because the vikshepa, how can you tackle this vikshepa? The thoughts, the cause for the vikshepa is, still you have value for the world and the objects. See, don't need to undermine the world, but you don't need to overvalue the world, isn't it? It's the problem. Give due respect to the world, and but you overvalue it, which means you still have craving for the world and the things because you still value, you still seek, you are still dependent on the world and the objects for your security and happiness. That lingering value for everything in the world, which means there's still attachment. Which means what? Attachment means what? Again, don't mistake it. I told you many times, being dependent on the world for your happiness and security is what? Attachment. Concern, affection, care, association is not responsible, is not called attachment. Concern, affection, care, warmth, association is okay. Without being dependent on them for your security and happiness is what? Attachment, isn't it? So here, because a lack of adequate dispassion implies you're still being emotionally dependent on them for your security, is it? Therefore, the lack of vairagyam is the cause for vikshepaha. And this lack of vairagyam, which is cause for vikshepa, and which also the unresolved, unsettled issues of the past, our own past samskara which have gone subconscious, which surface and which also contribute for your distractions, which is called kashayaha. Kashaya. So now we have this layaha, vikshepaha, kashayaha, all of them. Now this vikshepa can be handled how? By always reminding yourself as what? Okay, these thoughts come and these thoughts are there. I am only a witness here. By all the time seeing yourself as a witness of the thoughts which arise in your mind, you can handle the vikshepa problem. But still vikshepa problem can be totally resolved only by resolving the problem of kashayaha, which is the cause for the vikshepa. Kashaya is the cause for vikshepa. And kashaya is caused by what? Unresolved, unsettled things in your mind, isn't it? In subconscious. And also the lack of adequate dispassion. And you can, therefore, how to become free from dispassionate? You have to develop that vairagyam is not enough. That's the sadhana chatushta sampatti. What is the problem here? The second qualification is you are missing. You get the 4 subjects, no? Like 4 subjects, how many marks? Okay. Mukshutvam, 100%. 100 pass. Or 100, not even 90, 80. 100. Mukshutvam, 100. And then we have this, what about this? Mukshutvam is okay. Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha, also 80. Vairagyam, 40. Just to pass. Shastra, no. Vairagyam also has to come 100 lot. Then what now? Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. Isn't that? Even Samadhi Sampatti also is there, but some Samadhi Shatka Sampatti also is there. For this person, amazing. But Vairagyam somewhere still not enough. You have to grade, has to improve. What should you do for that? To have dispassion. All the time, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha must be there. It is now Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. Enough. 100% is not there. Mushuttam 100%. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka 80, 60. Which means you have to all times see what is Nityam. You have to see what now? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. All the time see the limitations of everything here. The problem, the birth, the death, the old age, the disease, and all those things. We have to really see the limitations of everything. Even for you to be able to see, you need to be mature. Otherwise, you don't get frightened, isn't it? So being with the facts, realities, all facts. You have to be, with the facts. Therefore, this is very important to see the limitations of everything. All the time, if you see the limitations of everything, if you understand that how, everything is subject to limitations, then naturally you will see what is permanent becomes very clear, and then that will help you. The only source of security is the truth. Everything other than the truth is what? Is like leaning on a cardboard chair. If you understand, then it is possible for us to develop dispassion towards everything else. And dispassion is, if we understand the limitations of everything, dispassion towards the objects of, will be possible. Adequate dispassion is there, then naturally the mind will not be, the distractions also can be avoided. You can be more focused. The last one was Rasasvadaha. Also we saw Rasasvadaha means what? Even in meditation, definitely Samadhi Anubhavaha is possible. The Samadhi experience means what? Every time you are very focused, if you have tackled all the three problems and you are able to dwell upon the teaching, means every time you dwell upon the teaching and you are completely, mind becomes tranquil and serene, and there is Advaita Anubhava experience, and even that is also state of mind, a condition of the mind. It is natural for us to get engrossed in the enjoyment of that pleasure of what having that such mind. And you have to remember that even that mind is only a state of mind. It is experience which is subject to go. That is also only temporary happiness, which is only fraction of manifestation of fullness. That is not Anandaha. Isn't it? It's the enjoyment of the joy which is experienceable during meditation. Practice and nidhyasana. Now, is nothing wrong. You can enjoy the joy. You can experience the joy. You can have that serenity you experienced in meditation. You can have it, but don't get attached to that. Also, what nisangaha, isn't it? Attached to that quite serenity also, because it's a temporary condition of the mind. It will be there as long as you are in contemplation. Once you come out of contemplation again, it will go. Which means, what you have to, how you can avoid that? By reminding yourself of the fact that I am fullness, I am happiness, I the self am. I'm Turiyam Chaitanyam, I'm limitlessness. Actually, even this experience is what? It's only my own reflection. The experience, the serenity I experience, the tranquility I experience, the non-dual experience I have in meditation, in contemplation, it's condition of the mind which is reflection or manifestation of my own real nature. Like what? When I see the mirror, I need to use the mirror to see the reflection of my face. But when only through the mirror I see the reflection of the face, but definitely I don't fall in love with the face. I see the reflection of the face, isn't it? And the mirror. But I should remember, no, such a beautiful face is only reflection of my real face, isn't it? Which means my face is beautiful face. It's only reflection. You should remember. Similarly, I am fullness, I am happiness, I am serenity, I am tranquility. Okay? And a tranquil, serene, calm mind which I entertain, I experience during contemplation is only reflection or manifestation of my own swarupa, my nature. Remember? Then you can avoid that fourth disturbance also. And without all these obstacles, and if you are successful, means you can take ownership of your own Swarupam being Advaitam, Satyam, isn't it? The Turiyam as the self. Is it clear? This is 47 verse over. And 48th Karika again is called what now? The sums up, like how the first two verses are Upodghata mantra Karikas, it's Upasamhara Karika. The final Karika, the 48th Karika, again presents the, or no, it sums up the whole teaching. There is no Jagat, there is no Jiva. Jiva is also what? Satyam. Jagat also is Satyam. There is no Jiva, there is no Jagat. What is? There is only non-dual reality, the consciousness, which is what? The self. I, the self, am the non-dual secondless non-dual reality, the consciousness. Advaitam. Aham Advaitam Satyam. So what is introduced briefly is finally concluded, in conclusion after briefly presented. So brief conclusion, brief introduction, same. What is briefly introduced is again briefly concluded. In between, elaborately discussed. Upodghata 2 were Karikas, Upasamhara 1 Karika, and 48 minus 3, 45 Vistaraha. Is it clear? 48 verses. Now we have to see actually, I had to really give you the summary of the first two chapters also, which we'll do maybe sometime. But anyway, this is something I wanted you to. So why I'm telling you, because this is the concluding class. I think we'll stop it. So for this academic year.